What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for a late night update for you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the World Cup, but I have got a late night bomber to bring to you guys, and something that I was not expecting at all. Our names to be linked with these kind of players. Enoch did tell us they're going to show us in the coming months that they mean business. They're going to put their money where their mouth is. Well, let's have a read through this and let's see what we all think. And the name is regarding Mr. Sandro Tonali of Newcastle. So Fabrizio Romano tweeted out saying that Tottenham have entered the race to sign Sandro Tonali. Zerbi wants Tonali as the new star midfielder, ideal to step up to Tottenham Hotspur level. Spurs ready to face Manchester City and Arsenal in the race for Tonali for new ambitious project to prove their intentions. Matty Moretto says that Tottenham are ready to hand Sandro Tonali the keys to the new project. The intention is to close an ambitious market deal. Spurs head coach Roberto De Zerbi is pushing to have him on the team, and Tonali is open to the move to North London. That is not something I expected to hear today. Sandro Tonali open to a move to Tottenham. That has surely got to rile a few Newcastle fans up because, in their opinion, they finished above us the last couple of years. And Spurs have finished 17th place finishes in a row. And suddenly, one of their best players are very interested in joining Tottenham Hotspur. What kind of a fee is this going to command? Well, it's going to have to be a significant one. SZY says that Newcastle want at least 85 million for Sandro Tonali. And he reaffirms what Matty Moretto is saying, that the player would be open to a move for Tottenham Hotspur. And I'm thinking, like, surely this ain't going to happen. So I'm a massive fan of Sandro Tonali. Yeah, he might not be the passer that we're so desperate for, but he is a massive upgrade and goes straight into our first team. I think he's much better than anyone that we have. I think if we are able to bring in the Sandro Tonali, then that probably ends our pursuit on João Pelini, and hopefully we can bring in that kind of elite passer next to him in the role. I mean, someone like Bruno Guimaraes would be absolutely perfect, but obviously we're not going to be able to take Newcastle's whole midfield in one window. Adam Wharton is another one. That would consist of a complete regeneration of our midfield to a top level. But even just Sandro Tonali alone, yeah, like profile-wise, he's not the actual midfielder that we've been crying out for so long. But he represents a massive upgrade in what we have. So I'll be delighted for it. I mean, he's a player of supreme ability. He's very much a complete midfielder. I think he's in the 67th percentile for progressive passing. So that's where he could improve on. But I'm talking about his defensive play is absolutely spot on. He can drive through the middle of the park, through the centre. He works so well with a passer in there like Bruno Guimaraes. And I think, they're like the yin to each other's yang. So I think if we sign Sandro Tonali, we'll probably have to sign a passer alongside him. But with a massive outlay of 85 million, can you imagine that happening? Can you even imagine our Spurs even getting this over line? Fabrizio Romano saying that we're ready to face Manchester City and Arsenal. Are we really sitting here going to believe that he would join us over an Arsenal or a Man City in this current, state at this moment in time? I don't know. Maybe that little Italian pull for Roberto De Zerbi, can he get in his ear and can he sway his decision to get him to come to Tottenham? I don't know. Are Spurs actually going to put this kind of money on the table? Well, they said to us, watch in the next couple of months. I never believed it when they said it, but let's see them put their money where their mouth is now. Sandro Tonali would smack of a massive ambition. It would be a massively ambitious signing if we could get it over the line. I mean, it's obviously very in the early stages, but just to hear from very reliable journalists saying that Tonali is open to a move to North London, it is sounding quite positively, and Spurs could mean business. I mean, are we really going to spend 50 million on Van Hecker? 50 million to 60 million on Savinio, and then 85 million on Sandro Tonali, plus another passing midfielder, plus more in the forward line. Come on, guys. We're not falling for this again, are we? I might be, because I am getting excited just hearing our names being linked to these kind of players. But the reality is, nothing's over the line yet. Savinho's not over the line. That's gone cold. That's gone quiet. Savinho, Van Hecker, everyone said they wanted to get it done before the World Cup. The World Cup started. He's played in the World Cup. That's not over the line yet. So we need to start getting deals over the line. I know, a bit of patience has to be, and I know, we've been asked to be patient for a long time, but the transfer window did literally just open today, guys. So let's see what they could do, because if we get Sandro Tonali, I think that would be massive for the football club. Yeah, I think it really would. And I think if you can get a Sandro Tonali, suddenly I think, Spurs become a bit more of an attractive prospect, because you're thinking, oh, what are Spurs building here? Are we actually building something serious for next season? So I think he's got attributes that can absolutely thrive in this football team. He really does. He's one of the leading midfielders in the Premier League. And I think if he was to join us from Newcastle, that has got to be a massive kick in the teeth if you're a Newcastle fan. Look, I'm not going to believe it until I see it, but it's a massive, massive signal of intent from Tottenham Hotspur. So it's positive, because it's not like tenuous links. This is a genuine Fabrizio Romano and Matti Moretto, two of the most respected in the game, talking about it. So is it going to be another one of those, put in a bid and, we tried to get him over the line, and he ends up going to an Arsenal, ends up going to a Man City. We tried it with Eberechi last season. We all know what happened there. Morgan Gibbs-White, we all know what happened there. It's happened time and time again to us. We always get linked to these big names, and we never seem to get them over the line. But if we can, this signifies signing someone at the peak of their powers right now in Sandro Tonali. When's the last time we've signed someone like this? If we get this over the line, this is a big boy move. This is what big clubs do. They go to their rivals. They go to a team in the Premier League, a decent team in the Premier League, and go, you know what? We're going to take one of your players. It's a player that you don't want to lose. And you put the money down on the table. We know that Newcastle don't bring in the revenues that Tottenham bring in, so they need to watch themselves massively with PSR. But if we do bring in Tonali, then what does the makeup of that midfield look like? Because he comes in, obviously, as the 6. We would still need someone like an Adam Morton to come in alongside of him. So which midfield players are actually going to end up leaving the club? We reported earlier about Pape Matar. Obviously, I think this would maybe mean that Paulinho doesn't come back. And that is what SZY is saying. He says, I reckon we sign one of Tonali or Paulinho, then the next midfielder will be a passer. Can we get all this done in this summer transfer window? It does seem like a hell of a lot. And it does seem majorly ambitious to be able to get these top talents in all in the same window. I mean, it sounds exciting. It sounds exciting, but previous windows have sounded exciting as well. So we need to watch this play out. We need to go into it with our eyes wide open. But there is a small part of me that being like, are Spurs actually going to do this? Are we actually going to bring in some top talent? The links are there. Let's get the business done. I would love Sandro Tonali at this football club. I really would. So let's see how it all plays out with Sandro Tonali. And I reported earlier a French link about Malik Fofana. Well, a couple of journalists have all come out and just completely sprayed cold water over it. The ITKs are coming out and saying, look, there's been no bid for Malik Fofana. He is a player that Spurs were interested in last summer, but that hasn't been followed up this summer. Obviously, he did have that injury this season, kept him out for a large chunk of the season, and only came back for the last couple of games, and obviously didn't get called up to the Euro squad because of that. So it might be something just swaying teams off right now, because he looked like the development was going really well, not last season, but the season before. And then this has kind of stunted him a little bit. So maybe it's an opportunity to get him at a cut price deal and a cheap fee. But, maybe there's just a bit of lack of trust there because of the injury, and they're not sure how he's going to recover and come back from that injury. So it looks like there's nothing in the news that we put in a bid for Malik Fofana. But it does seem like there is something in the news that Spurs are entering the race to try and sign Sandro Tonali off Newcastle. That is a big boy move from Tottenham if they actually go and get it done. Enough of this flirting, enough of this saying we tried. Go and get the business done, Tottenham. This would be massive for the football club. It will just prove to the fans, and it will just prove to everyone that we're able to get top talent through the door at this football club. And it's even more significant that we're able to get the deal to get talent through after finishing 17th place twice in a row. Because we finished 17th twice in a row. We've gone and got Senesi, who Bournemouth have had their best season ever, probably ever. They've got European football. We've still been able to take one of their players on a free transfer without European football. You know what I mean? So, and we're trying to get Van Hecker. Brighton have got European football, and he wants to come to the football club. So I think people know we're a massive club. We're a big club in Tottenham Hotspur. We've got the finances behind us to get these deals done. It's all about being able to convince the player. We all want players that want to come here. And you know what? Players are only going to come here because they want to be here, because we're not in European football. We don't have that sell of Champions League football, where in the past maybe like Moani basically only came here because he wanted to play Champions League football. We've had players only come here because they want to play Champions League football. But now, if we convince players to come, it's because they want to come and play for Tottenham Hotspur. And I think that is the beauty of it right now. So I'm actually shocked that Matty Moretto and other people are saying that Sandro Tonali is open to the move. I would have thought, he'd be holding out for a much bigger prospect like an Arsenal, like a Man City, who obviously finished first and second last season and are in the Champions League. So if he's open to it, he obviously feels that there is a project here that is worth joining, and he wants to be part of the Roberto revolution. Does he want to play with his fellow Italian? Who knows? Look, we'll wait and see how it progresses. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, because I'm getting a bit giddy and a bit excited here. And I know it shouldn't be, because I've been burnt so many times by this football club. So just calm down. Everyone just calm down. I need to calm down myself. But look, let's see how it goes. This is the news right now. Spurs have entered the race for Sandro Tonali. Sandro is open to a move to Tottenham. The price Newcastle want is reported at £85 million, which would smash Spurs' transfer record. Obviously, I think the most is £65 million for Dominic Solanke, so it would absolutely smash it. And you'd expect, if we want to bring in a passer next to him, we're going to probably have to repeat that fee for another midfielder as well, if it is like, let's say, an Adam Morton or something. So big weeks ahead. It's Italy aren't in the World Cup. Sandro's not there, so maybe it's a deal that can get done fairly quickly as well. So just keep your eyes peeled, people. We'll be here to report it every single step of the way. And yeah, just want to bring you that short update today. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is it actually realistic that Spurs can sign Sandro Tonali? Because there's one hand of me that's dreaming, that thinks we can get it done. But there's another hand of me that's saying, this is Tottenham, mate. We don't get these deals done. So let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,